What's up, guys? It's been a little while. I was super busy, and if my voice sounds a little bit different, it's because I'm pretty sick right now. So that sucks. But yeah, I've actually been working because I was traveling, so it's kind of hard for me to like get into the groove of things and actually like traveling and moving. And so first I moved, then I traveled, and so it was hard for me to be able to update the sheets. But I have been, trust me, I have been working on stuff like on on public transportation and that kind of thing. I've been taking notes and planning out stuff. I'm probably about 20 mons ahead right now of um where we are in the decks right now. So if you notice that mons are coming quicker than usual, it's probably because I'm just kind of copying them down from my notes into the sheets and the files, which still takes a good amount of time. I'm not gonna lie, it takes a lot of time actually, but um that's just something worth mentioning. I wanted to give you guys a little update on the progress, but that out of the way, I actually ended up finishing these guys a little while ago, so they're not super fresh in my mind. I just didn't have the time to sit down and record the video. So let's do that right now. So Tyrogue and the Hitmons, I'm recording them all in one video. They all share a little section because they all have the same TM compatibility besides two moves for each of them. Um, and they are just great. I'm actually really happy with the way I made it. So I made it so as I made it so that the others don't outclass each other because in the past, I'm sure a lot of you guys know Hitmontop is the best one. Oh, Hitmonlee is pretty good, and then Hitmonchan fucking sucks, and that's just the way it is. Or that's just the way it was, rather. And obviously Tyrog was shit, as were most babies and Priogos and shit. And so I figured, let me differentiate them, and so I actually ended up planning out all the other pure fighting types as well to just guarantee that there was no overlap and they all had their own cool, unique traits, and none of them really outclass one another. That's something that I'm sure if you guys are familiar with my work, you know that I take a lot of effort to do that, even in cases where it's really hard. um, and this case was no exception. It was kind of difficult, but I ended up settling on this, and I think it works out really nicely. So I'm I think so for the sake of me not jumping around 24/7 and just rambling and rambling, I'm gonna try to stay focused, and addressing. I'm just gonna be going in order. I'm gonna be going in order as they appear, and I'm just gonna be going over what they can do, why I changed it, what they and then the pros and cons of each of them. So that is my goal here. To not this is gonna be a longer one, guys. I mean, I'm literally covering 3 months, 4 months, you could argue, and it's like, come on, man, that's gonna take a while. I already ramble for way too much. So, um, sit back, maybe do something else. You can just listen to this, and let's get into it. So, Ty Rogue. Like I said, babies sucked. My man had terrible stats. So I ended up having to push back the evolution level to 25 simply because they would be way too strong at level 20. I have a lot of really strong shit at level 20. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of strong shit available right up when you get to Hala, but excuse me. Sorry if you guys could hear that through the mic. But Tyro would like the Hitmons would be way too much, absolutely too powerful for level 20. And so, despite evolving later, they have really good stats. So you got a nice 80 attack stat, you got 85 speed, because he looks like he can move around and run around and shit pretty quickly. And then you have two solid abilities. So Determination is a new ability. It's just clear body. So you can't have your stats dropped. Yeah, Defiance technically better, but this one ignores the drops. Meanwhile, Defiant still technically gets the drop. So for example, if they use like a speed dropping move, your speed is still lowered, which in a lot of cases doesn't matter, but in other cases it does. So it's not just as simple as being a worse Defiant. However, I also just wanted to give more fighting types determination because Defiant is what I originally wanted to give it, and I was like, wait, I already have Mankey and stuff with Defiant as a pre-evolution, so it's more fun to. Obviously, Primate has its own shit, but you guys can go read the chains guides for that one because I have not recorded videos for the first half of Kanto or whatever the hell, maybe 1/3 of Kanto, probably half. Anyways, back to focusing. Yeah, Termination's a useful ability, so great thing. Like I've said a billion times, you have infinite ability capsules, so you can literally just take it on and off. So, oh crap, this trainer has a stat dropping move. Let me just boop, take on determination. And stat dropping moves are really, really common early game in the hack, and it's just a nice utility option. It's just good. Like, oh, I ignore all of these dropping moves. Nice. And then the other option, Scrappy. Scrappy is really good for trainers because you cannot switch your ghost into their normal moves or their fighting stab. You just can't do it. You can't switch a ghost in when they have Scrappy. And also for the player, it's useful because it saves you a move slot, and you can also hit ghost types that are part something that's weak to fighting. So, for example, like a steel ghost or a rock ghost, you could punch them and then hit them for super effective damage, which is cool. Because a lot of times you could think, oh, why not just run a fighting, a dark move or a ghost move? Well, or anything that hits a ghost really. And the number one, trainers can abuse it against you. You can't switch in your ghost type and abuse the AI as easily. And then also it saves you a move slot on the dark coverage, so it's pretty useful overall. Pretty good ability. Obviously not award winning, but it's good for the pre-evolution. And then at level 25, so another I usually typically I start this off by addressing weird stuff, but I couldn't really do that in this case because there's just so many damn bonds. Like I really just want to go in order to not to save you guys the hour and a half. It would end up being way longer if I just talked about what the hell I wanted to talk about. So yeah, as you can see here, you got your good moves, you got your priority, you got your utility, you got your stab, timeout is for reliable recovery. You got all this great coverage, and I guess I'll cover this quickly now since I talked about their TMs and stuff. They all have the same TM. So I know, yeah, technically Hitmonlee is the kicking guy. How come the other ones have Blaze Kicker? Technically Hitmonchan is the punching guy. How come all the other ones have freaking, I don't know, Shadow Punch or whatever? Like, oh, Hitmonchan should be the only one who gets it. I I understand where you're coming from, but number one, it's just way too inconvenient to make everything so differentiated from each other, especially when Tyrogue exists and is usable for half of the second island, basically. Like it's not really fair to Tyrogue to just remove all of the punches and the kick moves from his arsenal. Like he's a relevant fighting guy. In fact, Tyrogue already got like fucking high jump kick and shit by egg move. So if fucking Hitmonchan and high jump kick, he could definitely blaze kick if he gets fire punch. So that's kind of the logic there. And it's useful coverage. And of course, their abilities complement their types of moves, as I'll get into. So it's not like, oh, Hitmonlee can punch just as well as Hitmonchan. Like that's not the case, trust me. Um, and it's just really beautiful in terms of they just have so much great coverage now, and they already had good coverage, but all of them have great coverage. However, for the exclusive moves, I figured, let me try to be a little bit flavor accurate here. Let me give Hitmonchan only Drain Punch and Seismic Fist because Seismic Fist is like a super strong punch, I guess you could say. It's useful ground coverage. And I also removed Earthquake because since I added all these great fighting type moves with like Megaton Kick, Seismic Fist, all that shit. I buffed all the physical ground type moves and added more. You don't need Earthquake on everything anymore, and so a lot of shit just got Earthquake for no reason. Like I don't see any of these guys summoning an Earthquake in my opinion, so I just removed it. Um, and all of them have strong ground type moves anyways. So you have Technician Bulldoze on Hitmontop, you have Seismic Fist on Hitmonchan, and then you have Megaton Kick on Hitmonlee, and then you also have a Drill Run on Hitmontop if you wanted to use that. And then other exclusives are just random flavor stuff. So Drain Punch is fucking great on Hitmonchan. Uh, Drain Punch is great on Hitmonchan. Bounce is useful coverage on Hitmonlee earlier in the game before you get like Acrobatics TM and Dive Bomb, which I'm getting ahead of myself, but yes, Hitmonlee is great. Also, if I mix up the names, guys, you guys can know what I'm talking about. If I ever mix it up, my brain goes fast sometimes, man. I can't. It's hard for me to be super. I can you see now I'm blanking on the word. I had a really long day, y'all. Um, Point being, two exclusive moves each. Smart Strike is useful, it boosts your accuracy now and it can't miss, and it's useful for like triple kick, I guess, if you wanted to use that. But I'm again getting ahead of myself. So Tyro goes covered. No super weird moves there. Hitmonlee. So another thing I wanted to do is I wanted to give them each, like for Lee and Chan especially, I wanted to give Hitmonlee every single kick move and Hitmonchan every single punch move, and so they already have all the punch moves by a lot of the punch moves by TM and also a couple kick moves. But I wanted to hold on, sorry, I have to close that out. Um, I wanted to give them like so my point being, yeah, trap kick is kind of fucking weird. Hitmonlee is not tropical, but he's the kick he's the kick Pokemon, man. He can get trap kick. It's not a big deal. I think it's cute. I think it's funny. It's not even that great, man. Like you already have grass not for physical grass coverage, and that one actually drops speed. This one drops attack, and is more reliable in the base power. So it's a good move, but it's not like you're gonna keep it the entire game. Like you just use it when you needed it and delete it eventually, probably if you need more move slots. But useful move nonetheless. And then you get double kick on evolution. The only reason I have double kick on evolution and not early game on Tyrogue is because otherwise Hitmontop would get access to Technician double kick at the beginning of the game. And you might be thinking, oh, I should also really be like switching over to the move sheet while I do these sometimes, but it just takes so much extra effort. Let me also scroll this up just so I can control F easier. Anyways, The reason being is it would just be way too strong. Because there's tons of move changes, but I mean, little ones, even like this is a minor change, believe it or not, but it's they'll double click is 35, so it would become 105 base power effectively, which is too strong for level 25, in my opinion. So I removed it. Well, I didn't. I moved it higher. So, but Hitmonlee can get it a bit as soon as he levels up. And it still has useful use over like skirmish, which is the same base power overall, but it doesn't have the flinch chance, and it drops attack actually guaranteed. Versus double kick has the flinch chance and also hits twice, so it hits through sashes and sturdy and choppleberry and all that crap. So it's pretty cool. Um, your main actual important moves on Hitmonlee. So let's get into the actual their stats and their abilities now. So Lee keeps his two like well-known abilities. So he keeps reckless, he keeps unburdened. You might think that's kind of boring. Oh, one other thing I wanted to address, the evolution method. There was nothing else that would work. I trust me, I really thought about it for a while. Um, I didn't want to make it random because I want to give you the freedom to choose which one you want. So that's out of the picture. I didn't want to make it based on stats because there was no stat spread I could give Tyrogue that was reasonable that would make him viable until level 25. Like I had to tick three boxes basically. Number one, make him viable and good until he evolves. Number two, make sense for what he is. And number three, be able to actually get so because the original evolution method is attack and defense like oriented. So even if I remember I literally had to do like a bunch of calcs. Like even if I had 70 base attack and 65 base defense, which is stupid, first of all, and second of all, even then I think there's situations where you can maybe technically not get the other one. But or for example, I wanted to do like 75 attack and 60 defense. Like that was the most I was willing to do. I think was 75 attacks, and even then you're like pretty much skewed into getting Hitmonlee most of the time in that case because I would have made it so that attack over defense is Lee, equal is top, and then lower is Chan. But or the other way around. Doesn't matter, guys. The point is, it's not a good or reliable evolution method. I've used that evolution method for things like slow poke and for things like what else have I used that for? I know I used it for slow poke, and I know I used it for Polyrath and stuff. And that's because I can actually make their stats very close to each other or literally equal, in which case it actually is choosable because you have the infinite EV berries and stuff. And so you can just, reset your EV spread simply just to evolve and then change it again. Um, but in this case, it didn't work out. It would not work. Fighting gem doesn't work because there's three of them. It's not like they're each a different type. If it was like fighting, flying, fighting ground, then I could be like, oh, ground gem, fighting gem, whatever gem. But that doesn't work in this case either. And so the only other options were like day, night, which makes no sense. And there's also three of them anyways. And then based on a move, that was a one that you guys actually might be thinking of because you can do that. There was a evolution methods in the original games where you learn a move and you evolve. And that's a cool idea in principle, but it sucks because there's no move learner until the end of the game. And so you would be forced to delete a move that you might never be able to relearn until the end of the game again, theoretically. And that is just that's not something I want to encourage at all. And so yeah, it's a little bit scuffed, man. Hopefully you're reading the sheets because yes, you would never really think that holding a sash or a muscle band or an expert belt evolve you. As for why I chose these specific items, I know they aren't the most fitting, but I had to pick items that are available in Royal Avenue, so around level 25. And all of these items are purchasable in Royal Avenue. All of them. I didn't want to do like choice band or anything like that because I couldn't guarantee that those would be available that early. They might be pushed back later. I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff yet. For the most part, I just have a general idea. That being said, now I can actually really talk about the evolutions and how they function because that's the cool part. That's the fun part. That's you're going to be using those for most of the game, and you might be wondering, oh, which one is better? Which one is well? Spoiler alert: none of them are better than the other. That's just a fact. That's my goal. Actually, none of them are better than the other one. They all have their own unique set of traits, and it's up to your personal preference and your personal situation and your specific Tyrogues, EVs, and IVs. Say, example, you're doing a Nuzlocke or something, then you really have to pick which one you're going to use. Right. Obviously, if you're just playing for fun, then use whatever the fuck you want, man. Enjoy the game. Great. But if you're doing a Nuzlocke or something, you're going to be more limited in your choices. So you're really going to want to pick one that is advantageous to you. So Hitmonlee is on paper the strongest, meaning he has the highest attack. So I kind of made it so their stats stagger a little bit. So Lee has 130 attack, Chan has 120 attack, and Top has 110 attack. And those are all higher than the original stats, obviously. Chan especially. Actually, both of these have plus 15. So that's pretty fucking cool. Um, And then the speed stats also stagger. So you got 105 speed on Hitmonlee, 110 speed on Hitmonchan, and Hitmontop has 100. And honestly, all three of them could be the same speed. All three of them could be. You could literally reverse the speed order. They all look pretty speedy, honestly. You could really do whatever. But the reason I chose these is because of the way their abilities work and their other stats and their viability overall. This is the best situation because I will get into it for specific ones, but I just wanted to briefly cover how all three of their stats kind of mirror each other. So then their defense stats also mirror each other a bit. Top being the most defensive, having the most bulk. Also, another fucking weird thing is, I mean, Gen 1 quirk, man, or actually technically Gen 2 quirk because they gifted these guys 110 base SPDF for a special, sorry, SPDF in Gen 2 after they realized that these guys are terrible. They're like, let's give them 110 SPDF for no goddamn reason. It makes literally no sense. There's no logic for it. It doesn't make sense. Um, so physical defense is good on them, much better, but their special defense is lower, and then they are much faster and much stronger. Um, with Hitmonchan having the highest speed boost of the three, and also having the highest speed of the three on paper. However, focusing back to Hitmonlee, and now I'm going to be going in order. Hopefully I don't jump around too much because I really do want to talk about each one individually. I want to give them each their due diligence and their own explanation. So Hitmonlee is really fucking strong. It keeps on burden, which is just a great ability. And all of you guys may be looking at Lee and being like, "Oh, Lee sucks because Hitmonchan has all this cool new shit, and then the top is all still as reliable as always. If anything, it's better." And da 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 da. You're sleeping on Lee, trust me. And if you might be thinking, "Oh, Lee is the strongest, and Chan is strong, and top is lame," and like you can't judge them by their covers. Like I promise you, I've thought about it a lot, and I've put specific effort in to make sure that it's I put specific effort in to make sure that you cannot just look at them and go, "Oh, this one's better, this one's worse." You can't do that. That's not realistic. And so in this case, Unburden is just a really good ability. I'm sure those of you who are more experienced know that, but some people might be thinking, oh, it's kind of lame. You have to use up your item. So in vanilla games, it is pretty lame, actually. But I have a bunch of new Unburden items that are readily available. So back in Gen 5, there were the gems. Those weren't available anymore after Gen 5, and they got nerfed to a 30% boost. They used to be 1.5, which was fucking nuts. Excuse me. But now they're 1.3, and they have good use. Don't get me wrong in a lot of cases actually, but especially on unburdened mons. So now you can use. So let me show you guys some calcs because 105 speed is great on its own, of course, and you can run Scarf on Reckless and just spam your fucking recoil moves, which is a lot more unga bunga, strong. But you have Unburden, which again with infinite ability capsules, you can be specific in when you use which ability and use those to your advantage. So 105 base speed with zero investment, guys. And let me put this level 100. All right. 105 speed, zero investment, neutral nature, not even a plus speed nature, just neutral nature, good IVs, 105 base speed. At plus 2, after an unburden boost, essentially, you get 492 speed. That is huge. That's with zero investment. You can have zero speed IVs and a minus speed nature, let's just say brave. And you're still hitting 386, guys. 386. And that's literally worst case. That is literally I have zero. And in this case, you could always just dump some if you really got a shitty. Well, to be fair, if you got a shitty, if you got a minus speed Tyrogue, you would probably want Chan or Top because Chan has rapid fire, which I'll get into in a second, and Hitmontop has this bulkier. So you probably wouldn't be using it, but let's say hypothetically you just love Hitmonlee and you still got a brave one and a Nuzlocke and you want to use it anyways, you're still really fast, and that's worst case. So like I said, and then with Max, nothing outspeeds you. You are one of the fastest unburdened users in the game. I think, yeah, maybe even the fastest. I'm not sure yet. Maybe Sceptile, if it keeps unburdened, will be faster, but well, Sceptile will definitely be faster if it keeps unburdened. That's a dumb. I'm unsure if it's going to keep the ability, but my point is super fucking quick, zero investment. The beauty of that is you can run max defense or max HP and max attack with Unburden. And you have a lot of ways to abuse Unburden now. So you can use Fighting Gem and just click a fighting move. You can use a normal gem fake out for the reliable one. You can use Psychic Seed plus Psychic Terrain. You can use Electric Seed plus Electric Terrain, which is a TM now. You can use Grassy Seed plus Grassy Terrain, which is a TM now. So not only are those easier to use because they're TMs, you can just slap them on and off your other Pokemon and get some team support. You could also do cool shit like, oh, Thunder Punch electric seed or something, you know, in the electric terrain, or grassy seed trap kick in the electric in a grassy terrain. So it's cool little stuff like that you can do. Or misty terrain, and now I'm immune to their will-o-wisp. You know, it's cool stuff like that. It's niche, but again, it's good. And then you also have one of the best options actually now is Quick Claw. So the way I changed Quick Claw and the way it functions is instead of being a chance to activate, which is inherently just not skillful in my opinion, it's just lucky. Um, it's now consistent, so you always move first, but it disappears, which is just better. I don't care. I know some people love Quick Claw, and you know, especially when you're a kid and they always give it to you at the beginning of the game. You throw it on your fucking starter, and then you know you get the Quick Claw boost, and it's like, oh shit. But in a hack like this, it's not worth using literally ever unless you're just playing to be like, you know, just for fun. Um, but in this case, it's much more consistent, and the beautiful thing is it works amazingly with Unburden. So you can use literally any move and always move first with it and get unburdened speed boost on the next turn. So you can do that with anything. You could do that with bulk up. You could do that with. I think I actually opted not to give them Swords Dance. No, I did. I still did. Never mind, scratch that. So you can do bulk up with max defense or max special defense and a max attack, and then use unburden with quick claw. Boom. You get priority defense boost, and then you get the attack boost, and you're bulky as hell, and you're super quick. Hitmonlee's great. That's great, and you can buy those. That's just infinite. That's right in front of you. You know, like so. Think a little bit outside of the box, and I trust. I promise you, Unburden will not disappoint. It's a great ability. Reckless is obviously much more straightforward. You get a 20% boost on top of 130 attack. So 130 attack with 20% boost is equal to about, let me do the math really quickly, 394. Oh, I didn't play music this time. I literally shared audio on purpose. There we go. There you go, guys. Sorry about that. 1.2. 473 attack, guys. So that is like what? I have to guess about 160 something. Yeah. About 165, 166 attack with Reckless. I mean, super strong, man. Come on. And the beautiful thing is, you have all of these buffed recoil moves. So you have Wild Charge and Rock Climb. Also, another thing with Reckless is you can use Reckless plus Shell Bell and take 0% recoil from the weaker recoil moves. So Shell Bell, where is the hell did changes? Shell Bell heals 20% now of what you deal. And, as you will see in a second, recoil moves now. The stronger ones deal 25%. So you're basically, with Shell Bell, you heal 20% and you take 25%. So you're getting a net loss of 5% damage, which is nothing. I mean, that is, obviously you're sacrificing your item slot. So, you know, you can have Shell Bell and not lose HP, or you can use Choice Band and kill shit, you know, so pick your, you know, depends on the situation, depends on what you're fighting, of course. Oh, another thing with Unburden, I think it goes without saying, is Flying Gym Acrobatics. Forgot to mention that. And a bunch of other stuff that like I haven't even mentioned. Like there's so much other stuff. Focus Sash. Oh my god. Hold on. I completely forgot about Focus Sash, guys. I hope this music isn't too loud for you guys. Focus Sash is, oh, dude, Focus Sash plus Reversal. I mean, that's a classic number to have Hitmonlee set, but dude, in this game with Infinite Focus Sash, and you can literally, or Endure. Oh man, Endure? Dude, Endure Lychee Berry? Endure Lychee Berry with Reversal? So you can do Endure Lychee Berry with Reversal in one turn, and get a +1 attack and use 200 base power fighting stab off a 130 attack and get your infinite speed. Or, what the hell is this? Whatever, I'll just let it play. I don't like this. I'm skipping it. This is not my playlist, guys. I stole this playlist from BKC. Okay, this is good enough. So, yeah, guys, like, Unburden is great with Endure and, like, Pinch Berries. You know, you can guarantee your Pinch Berry pops. Or just flat out Focus Sash. Flat out Focus Sash is great too, man. I mean, you can use that with Sword Dance. Boom. Easy, man. Like, that's... also, White Herb. White Herb is great with Superpower. You can use White Herb Unburden with Superpower or Giga Impact, because you get -2 attack after you use those now. And they're 150 and 160 base power respectively. And so you can just fire off a super strong Superpower and get the White Herb boost, and now you're... Sorry, White Herb, and I get the Unburden boost. And so now you just use the 150 base power move for free, and you have double speed. It does a lot of amazing ways to use Unburden. And again, you can just use Focus Sash, Sword Dance, Reversal, and just... That's so straightforward. Dude, Reversal, Sucker Punch, or knock off or whatever fighting coverage you want. Swords Dance. It literally just goes burr. I mean, Hitmonlee's great. All right, Unburden's great. Great ability. Otherwise, you have these reckless moves, like I was saying. Okay, Shell Bell. Yeah. So you're getting a net loss of 5% with these moves, or the recoil is actually canceled out on these 4 moves, or sorry, 5 moves. 3 of which Hitmonlee gets. Hitmonlee gets stab on takedown, then it gets rock climbing wild charge for coverage by TM, and so it just has free. I mean, with reckless, you get 20% boost to these moves, and with your super strong attack. So it has these for coverage, and then it has this for stab, and then it has double edge, which is solid. I mean, it's normal type, but it's good, decent coverage. And then the beautiful stuff is down here. So you got submission, which is 150 base power, and of course you drop your defenses, and you get the recoil. But I mean, that's just super strong. And then you got stab, high jump kick, and dive bomb for coverage. So these both work like high jump kick does. So if you miss it, you take half your health, and it's a big deal. And you miss the move. Big, it sucks. That's why you might want to learn wide lens with it, or you can just be crazy and not give a fuck and just pray to God you land it. But I would probably use it with the wide lens personally. That's just my opinion, though. Especially if you don't get Nuzlocke, that's really risky with that wide lens. And the beautiful thing about wide lens is I buffed it to 50% boost, so actually you don't get the 99% on 90% moves. You get over 100% now, so that's super reliable. You don't have to worry about the 1% chance that you miss and kill yourself with recoil. But yeah, man, reckless high jump kick and dive bomb, super strong. And then of course you have all the other stuff I covered. So that's Hitmonlee for you. He's got the regular stuff too, regular fighting type stuff. So other cool stuff that they all have access to is Force Palm Smelling Salts. So the best user of that is Hitmontop, because it has Technician. And so for Force Palm, what Force Palm does now is it's a 40 base power move that always paralyzes. As you can see here, 40 base power, always paralyzes, good for utility. And then with Technician on Hitmontop, that would become 60 base power, always paralyzes. And then Smelling Salts is priority with 1 PP, and it always flinches. So it's essentially like a fake out that you can use at any point in the battle, but only once. Only once. You can't PP max 1 PP moves. It's just stuck with 1 PP. So it's good and bad in that sense, because fake out you can switch back in and out, but Smelling Salts you cannot. You use it once and it's done. However, it doubles in power when you're paralyzed. So it's super strong. And you get 150 base power after using a Force Palm. So you can Force Palm paralyze them, and then Smelling Salts for 150 base power and flinch them on the next turn, or at any turn later, at any point later in the match. And that's just an option. You can also just use Force Palm for utility, and that's something all of them have access to. So that's cool. That's about it for Hitmonlee. Like I said, 70, 75, 75 bulk is solid. When you're using defensive investment with Unburden, it's bulky. I mean, genuinely bulky with defensive investment if you're using Unburden. So that's that. Next up is Hitmonchan. And Hitmonchan is just, oof. Dude, these guys are so cool. I'm really happy with how it turned out, because they really all do have their own little things that they can do, and they're all really just equal. They're equals, man. So you might be saying, oh, how come Hitmonchan gets 2 new abilities and the other 2 get their old abilities? This is so biased. Number 1, Hitmonchan was the worst of the 3. Number 2, Hitmonchan needs it. Number 3, I had to make sure that it didn't overlap with the other pure fighting types, which I have planned out now. And most of those are secret for a little while until they get to them in the decks. But as you can see here, 2 new abilities, 120 attack, 110 speed. So there's a specific reason I gave it 110 speed. With proficiency, also, as for how these abilities fit, I don't have to explain how these abilities fit the other 2, but in terms of how they fit Hitmonchan, because they're new abilities, I mean, he's a boxer, proficient. He's a proficient dude. He's a proficient. Stumbling my words, guys. He's a proficient fighter, so that's pretty dope. And the great thing about proficiency is with 120 attack and 110 speed, you can pretty much tailor. You can either get a speed boost or an attack boost. And I think theoretically you could get a defense boost, but you would have to have terrible attack and defense speed to do that, so I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, attack or speed. So it's like Moxie, but you have the option to boost your speed. So I'll show you guys for reference. Let's put in 110. Your attack stat, your speed stat actually is with max investment. If your plus speed nature is higher than your attack with 120 with the plus nature. So if you're jolly with max, you're going to be getting a speed boost with proficient. And you can tailor your EVs. So you can speed creep your, like, for example, if you've got a Jolly one, you can drop your own EVs so you get the speed boost for your specific fight. So say, oh crap, I have to fight this guy and I'm going to try to sweep him with proficiency. Let me try to get a speed boost after killing stuff because I don't need the attack boost. I'm going to use Swords Dance turn 1 or whatever the hell you want to, theorize. Easier said than done, of course. Trust me, it won't be that easy, but it's a doable thing, especially if you plan ahead. And you can pretty much guarantee you're getting which boost depending on your IVs and EVs. So in this case, say you have a neutral nature, or say you have an adamant one. See, this might be hard because now you're pretty much going to be forcing the attack boost unless you ran like very minimal. Like you can run like 50-ish, 58. Yeah, 58. Sorry. No, I was right. Yeah, 54. You can only run 54 attack on this if you've got an animate one. And your IVs are going to make a huge difference too. My point is, you might have to change your IVs around a little bit to get specific boosts, but you will be able to guarantee for the most part you can get a specific boost, which is really useful. And even if you're just getting the attack boost, it's the same as Moxie, man. It's a great effect to have, especially with all your priority moves. And speaking of priority moves, oh man, whew, dude, Hitmonchan is cool, man. So, like I said, it's bulkier physically because it's a boxer, and so he has to guard a little bit. So he has more defense, less special defense, only because I think Hitmonlee should be equal. And just because I couldn't really take the 5 out of anywhere. I couldn't justify giving him 105 speed as well. Because he needed the 110 speed to be able to come close to his 120 attack. Only other option would be like 115 attack and 75 split F, but this is better, man. I also wanted them all to have like a 10 difference, so you go down by 10 increments for their attack stats. So I just think it's cool. This is best case, and yeah. So let me get into the meat of things here. Rapid fire. All right. Hitmonchan, I gave him special treatment here because rapid fire is an ability that gives +3 priority to moves that can hit 3 more times. So you got all the multi-hit moves and then a couple of new moves I made that hit specifically 3 times. And I was thinking, it's a cool idea. I was really stumped because I really had to assure that Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and Hitmontop are all equally balanced and viable, and that they were also equally balanced and viable with all of the other pure fighting types. So that was a lot of work. And I eventually came to the conclusion, like, you know what, rapid fire is really cool. Here it says, oh crap. Here it says, like, they punch faster than a bullet train. It's the fastest puncher. It's even faster than what's it called, Machamp, so he can rapid fire punches. So why shouldn't Hitmonchan's punches get priority? And so I thought of something really unique. I said, because all of the other rapid fire mons are going to be mons who shoot things, all right, for the most part, like Magmortar, Fortress, King or Siegera, like mons like that, all right. Those are the rapid fire, or Clawitzer. I'm just rattling off a few. Those are all mons who shoot things, all right. That's the point of rapid fire. Artillery, that's a better one. Mons who shoot things, all right. But I figured, you know what, Hitmonchan can get a unique treatment here because it makes sense. Like, rapid fire, like in boxing, like you're rapid firing off punches. It's cool, and I have to guarantee. So I have to guarantee that no other rapid fire Pokemon will get access to Sky Uppercut or Knockout Punch, and I think that is going to be very easy to do, because a lot of the other rapid fire rounds will get like Drain Punch and Brick Break and all these other normal punch moves, but specifically Sky Uppercut and specifically Knockout Punch, none of them are going to get that. And so you have Stab Pummel, which is the fighting type equivalent, to Bullet Seed, and you have Comet Punch, which is Fairy type. So you have coverage and you have Fighting Stab at level 25 and 27 respectively. So as soon as you evolve, and the reason I put those so early, you might think, oh, well, that's so overpowered. Well, number one, Pummel at minimum is just Mach Punch, but slightly stronger. That hits twice, and that's great. And also +2 priority versus +1 priority, which outpaces a lot of stuff. But then you have the potential, and I believe on average, the multi-hit moves, the 2 to 5 hit multi-hit moves are 87.5 base power on average, or 77.5, something like that. They're in the 70s or 80s, so they're pretty strong. That's like extreme speed level. The only thing is they're inconsistent, and that can bite you in the ass all the time. If you're banking on the consistency on that, you're gonna get, especially if you're doing it as luck, you're gonna get bad luck one time, and you're gonna get unlucky. However, when you're fighting against it, oh man, that's infuriating, dude. Imagine freaking the Hitmonchan, Adamant Nature, Choice Band pummels you and just gets 5 hits and just shits on everything. It's possible. It's probably not going to happen, but it's possible. and that's the cool thing. But I wanted something more consistent than those two, and I also just wanted to give him more than 2 rapid fire moves because I feel like otherwise you'd just be using proficiency most of the time. Although, even if it was just Combat Punch and Pummel, you would still be using rapid fire. You can always just ability capsule on off. You know, the priority is invaluable in the game. Even though I gave it to everything, it's still invaluable. So, especially when you get +3 and it's strong moves. But like I said, I customized him. I gave him special treatment, and I gave him Sky Uppercut. I don't even like Hitmonchan. I felt like it made a lot of sense. Because Sky Uppercut is like a specific, like, you know, it's like a boxer punch, like he's punching upwards, uppercutting you. And the knockout punch is literally like, you're getting knocked out, dude. He's a boxer. So I think those two fit perfectly. So you get +3 priority on Sky Uppercut, which is 100 base power, 95% accurate, 25% flinch. Just easy, dude, easy. 100 base power off of 120 attack priority. You have a fire resistance I'm missing, which will happen if you are using the move a lot. It will happen, and it will suck when it happens, and that's why I do that, because I kind of want to. These moves are great, but you know, you still have that little risk of missing unless you want to use wide lens, which I actually would recommend, especially when you're using the other move. So also another thing is you have +2 priority, 25% flinch. That's hilarious. I love it. It's evil, but I love it. So that's cool. Otherwise, you have Knockout Punch, which is really cool, man. So Knockout Punch, 80% accurate, 130 base power stab move coming off of 120 attack priority. That's good enough, man. You don't even need to say anything else. Just 80% accurate with 130 attack, 130 base power off of 120 attack, +3 priority. That's all you need to hear. But there's more, because Knockout Punch is really cool. Despite being inaccurate, one of the more inaccurate moves in the hack, because most moves that are quote-unquote inaccurate are about 80% or 85% that are attacking moves. Very few attacking moves go below 85% accurate now, because I want to, you know, balance out things more, and make the downsides to moves more, you know, because people in game are very rarely going to use inaccurate moves unless they're crazy or not doing a Nuzlocke. But if you're doing a Nuzlocke, I want the risks to be worth it. You know, I don't want a 20 base power boost for that much accuracy to miss whatever. However, the really cool thing here, guys, is you have you essentially give them the yawn effect because of the punch. You know, you're punching them, you're knocking the lights out of them, man. They're getting drowsy. You know, I picture like in the cartoons where you punch them and they just go like the fucking birds are on their head and they just faint. It's like that. So they get drowsy. So you can knockout punch and then like Z detect and get all your health, and then the next turn, like Z detect on the turn that they're gonna fall asleep, then they fall asleep. And then you can just bulk up or something. You know, it's cool. You get a lot of cool combinations like that. Otherwise, you can just use wide lens with rapid fire and knockout punch. And with wide lens, 80 times 1.15 for the wide lens, and 92% accurate. So that's much more consistent. And I would definitely recommend it if you're using it personally. 90% accurate, 130 base power move with wide lens, +3 priority. Rapid fire is great. All right, that's the point here. And then obviously proficiency is also great, so you can just swap those on and off. And you also have other punch moves. So you have dizzy punches for coverage, psychic coverage. You have meteor mash, which is more reliable than comet punch, but isn't rapid fire, isn't effective at rapid fire. But meteor mash is good. You know, 95 base power, 95% accurate, very move. Rock smash is always drops defense, and it's 85 base power rock move. So that's really cool. Yeah, really cool stuff overall. And then you got other punch moves, and then again, Sky Uppercut and Knockout Punch are the big ones. And also you can use Wake Up Slat in conjunction with that, which is the same as Smelling Salts, like I said earlier. Just I believe it's slightly weaker. Yeah, slightly weaker because it's easier to abuse the effect. And also just because it's a Slat versus Smelling Salts is more of a forceful one, I guess. Doesn't matter. Don't think about it too much. These are the original base powers of the moves anyways, so yeah, guys. Oh, I actually have to make this like this. That's actually that was not fighting type move originally. Let me do that while I talk. Yeah, guys. I mean, Smelling Salts is just really fucking great with a Knockout Punch. You can use that right after and get 150 base power +4 priority. So you have like, you know, priority Knockout Punch, Z detect to heal, or even just, you know, stay in and bulk up, and then you can use Smelling Salts. You can set up a little bit. Like, okay, you could hypothetically Knockout Punch, Z detect to heal off all the HP you took, and then also stall the turn out, or just protect and save your item slot, or save your Z move, and then you can bulk up once or twice. You know, if you want to play your luck. The thing is, I can't guarantee sleep turns for Yawn. So moves like Serenade and Knockout Punch that affect the drowsy effect, I can't guarantee sleep turns for those. So those ones are kind of, you know, that then you got to deal with sleep bullshit. But the thing is, when you're the player, you know, you can play around those easily if you just are smart and switch out. This would mean, it forces a switch, which is the point of the move. It's supposed to force you to switch out unless you want to let your mon fall asleep for an indeterminate amount of time, which is really frustrating because you don't know how long it's going to be sleeping for. As for the player abusing it, you're using it against the AI. It's inconsistent, and that's part of the risk, man. You can't get a guaranteed sleep with this move. It would be too strong. If you got 2 turns guaranteed, it would be too strong. Because then you can really start to abuse the exact amount of turns and like time out your moves and whatnot. So really cool stuff there. But I think that's about it for Hitmonchan. And then lastly, you got Hitmontop, who used to be the best of the 3, and now he is equally as good as all 3 of them, and that's cool. So bulky, 70, 95, 80 with Intimidate, very bulky. Not like the tankiest thing in the world, but he's bulky. However, he's still offensive. Actually, more offensive now. So he has 100 base speed because he spins around, and I actually considered giving him a speed boost, but I figured it would be too good compared to the other 3. So it's fine. I feel like these 2 abilities are really signature to him anyways, so I'd rather keep these 2. Also, fun fact, I considered speed boost on Hitmonchan for a while, but then I settled on custom rapid fire. I think that was really cool, and I'm happier with that than speed boost, to be honest. Also, I feel like with speed boost he might be too good compared to the other ones anyways. So this strikes a really good balance. Trust me, guys, all 3 of them are really viable. I don't underestimate Hitmonlee's power and unburden utility. Don't underestimate the power of proficiency and rapid fire. Don't underestimate the power of freaking bulk and technician and intimidate. So with technician, you are getting a boost on a lot of moves. So you have 110 attack now, which is much better, and obviously that changed their stats around because Hitmontop is still a fighter, so you should still be able to hit pretty hard, and he spins around, and so he gets more strong, and then 100 speed because he spins around as well. And you actually have a lot of ways to boost your speed aside from agility and Z moves and all that crap. You also have, and also priority. So you have basically with technician. I'll cover technician first. So with because intimidate is pretty obvious in ways you would use intimidate. You ability capsule it on and off when you need intimidate. When you don't need intimidate, you're using technician for the power boost. So with technician, you have priority bullet punch, priority muck punch, priority fake out. First impression is 60 base power, but it always crits. So effectively, it's 135 base power with technician factored in. So that's really cool. You have all that for priority. Acrobatics becomes 75 base power with an item, which is cool for fighting flying coverage if you needed it for some reason. And then you got Rock Tomb and Bulldoze, both of which become 90 base power consistently and drop speed. You've got Knockoff, which is always 90 base power now with Technician, because the first hit is 90 base power because it takes the item off, because I nerfed it to 60 base power. Well, quote unquote nerfed. It's a nerf to other Pokemon because the move is stupid, but it's actually a buff to Technician mons because they will always get 90 base power on that move. And Hitmontop is a good example of that. He has good dark coverage now with Technician. Also, Covet, 90 base power fairy move, really nice and useful. So Hitmonlee is the only one that doesn't get fairy moves, which is fine. What am I saying? All of them get Covet, but he's not going to be using Covet unless you are fighting a goddamn, I don't know why you would ever Scrafty with a Chopple Berry, then you would use Covet to bypass the freaking Chopple with your fighting move. I don't know. Even that, I feel like you could. I feel like Reckless High Jump Kick might do more still, but I'm not about to do all the math on that. Somebody, if you're this far in the video and you care enough, you can do it. I could probably figure it out in like a couple minutes, but I'm too lazy. That out of the way, Intimidate's great, but Technician is also great, so you're going to be swapping between them. You got a priority, like I said, and then you have Quarter Chop, which becomes 90 base power. You have Rock Tomb Bulldoze for coverage. You have Grass Knot and Low Kick, which basically the way those moves work now, well, they always work that way, but Grass Knot's physical, and they lower speed. Both of these lower speed now, so low speed doesn't lower speed anymore. I wanted to make Grass Knot and Low Kick with lower speed because they trip you, so you kind of have to get back up. Lower speed makes them better. And weight mechanics kind of suck in Pokemon, so a lot of the time you're not going to be getting very high base power, especially early game. Grass Knot and Low Kick early game on the baby mons are not going to be doing a lot of damage. So when you get the 40 to 60 base power hits on Grass Knot and Low Kick, I believe 40 base power is the minimum, and then 60 base power is the second tier. You're essentially guaranteed to get at least 60 base power on Grass Knot or Low Kick. So you get 60 base power, then you get 90 base power, and then you get 80 base power with that Technician, and you get 100 and then 120. So essentially you have really consistent Low Kick and Grass Knot with Technician, which is nice. And then you've got other cool stuff, like I said, Acrobatics, like I said, oh man, Power Up Punch. Power Up Punch is great with Technician. You get +1 attack, 50 base power becomes 75 base power. And then, obviously, Power Punch is good on all these guys, but especially on Hitmontop. And then you get Rapid Spin, when you evolve, which is a 50 base power plus 2 speed. So you get plus 2 speed, and it's 75 base power normal type move with Technician. Gyro Ball, because you have 100 base speed, Gyro Ball could be useful steal coverage for them. For Hitmontop, it's situational because it lowers your speed up by 2 after use actually, but it's situational, but it could be useful for sure, especially with Technician. So say I have a 60 base power Gyro Ball on this Ice type in front of me, or I don't know, Ice type was a bad example. Fairy type in front of me, it's a better one. Now you get a 90 base power Steel move on them as opposed to actually no steel coverage besides Bullet Punch, which is probably more reliable to be fair, but still a cool option to have. It also just fits, you know, the whole spinning around gimmick. Speaking of spinning around, that's why they have Flame Wheel. Also, Hitmonlee has Rolling Kick, which is plus 1 speed now. Same with Flame Wheel. So Flame Wheel and Rolling Kick both get plus 1 speed, which is really cool. And the beautiful thing is, you know, Hitmonlee is just 60 base power, so it's not super OP on Hitmonlee. It's good. It's very good. Do not get it wrong. But on Hitmontop, it becomes 90 base power with the 100 speed and the bulk up, and it's just, you can really start to steamroll. As I said, I guess I was looking at steamroller. You can really start to snowball, is what I meant to say. Although steamroll is not a bad word to use in that case. You can start to steamroll over stuff, right, with Rolling Kick. But that's later, because that's stab. So that is really strong with Technician. What I ended up putting here earlier is Flame Wheel, which is cool. You know, they get Blaze Kick already, they get Fire Punch, so Flame Wheel is cool for him on top. You can spin around and Cloaked in Fire, why not? That's the same thing as Rolling Kick, just Fire type, so you're not getting stab on it, but it's a useful coverage move as well as giving you plus 1 speed. Useful move. Flammable Bristle can also work with Technician. I already covered a Force Bomb with Smelling Salts, and I covered that works with Technician. Double Kick works with Technician, becomes 105 base power overall consistently, and it hits twice. Really good move. Really nice, useful, strong, good move. And then you also, they all have Meditate or Setup, you know, plus 1 attack, plus 1 special defense, useful. Good alternative over Bulk Up or Swords Dance if you want it. Pummel. Pummel is really strong. Like I said, it's the multi-hit, as I covered with Hitmonchan, but with Hitmontop, instead of becoming priority, it becomes boosted. So essentially, Pummel is going to be doing a minimum of 75 base power with 2 hits and a maximum of 188 base power with 5 hits. So I believe it goes 75, 113, 150, 188. That's the base power of Technician, so really strong. The average base power, I believe, is like 113 with Pummel and Technician, so that's really strong. And then you get Rolling Kick, like I said, and then your last Technician move, I believe I covered about everything. Other than that, your last Technician move is Triple Kick, and Triple Kick was shit before. Hitmonlee gets it too because he's the Kickmon, and yeah, I know it's kind of weird that Hitmonlee gets Triple Kick too, but I think, you know, you should get every kick move as the kicking Pokemon. But in in Hitmontop's case, whew, man, it is absolutely insane how strong it is. So each hit has an individual accuracy check. So it's not just 90% accurate like Surging Strikes or Triple Candidate or all these other moves are, because it doesn't work that way. It's a different move. It's hard coded into the move. I couldn't change it. It's like Triple Axle essentially, which I could not obviously put in the game properly. It doesn't need it anyways because I bust all the other physical ice moves, but I'm getting very, very sidetracked. Point being, Triple Kick is really strong. It's very similar to Triple Axle in that it is 35 base power on the... I believe Triple Axle is different on the first hit, but the way it gains 10 base power each time it hits. So first hit is 35, second hit is 45, third hit is 55. So on a regular Mon, that is 120 base power max. But in Hitmontop's case, you are getting for... the first hit will be, so say you hit 1 Triple Kick and you miss the second one. Tough luck, it can change, you know, it'll happen. It's unlucky, but it'll happen. Which is why I recommend you use it with Wide Lens. Wide Lens Triple Kick, man, don't sleep. Super great. Super great. Please just use that and don't be stupid. But if you want to be reckless and just go for it, I mean, also Smart Strike or other accuracy boosting stuff. There's tons of ways to boost your accuracy now, but Wide Lens is the most immediate way. Where was I? Yeah, Triple Kick. At max, it's 180 base power. So it's just really strong, man. A really strong move. Hits 3 times, so it bypasses all types of, you know, Chopple Berries, Focus Sashes, and Sturdy, and Energy Shield, all these abilities and move items. Just absolutely great. And it's just really cool. So you got all that Technician stuff, and then, like I said, Intimidate's great. You can use a bulkier set with like Assault Vest, Intimidate. You can use Battle Cry plus Intimidate for utility to debuff the opponent. You can use Force Palm to paralyze them. You can use to intimidate to help you set up. You can abuse your improved bulk with intimidate and then set up easier with bulk up or sword stance. That is about it for these guys. This was a very fucking long video, probably the longest one yet. I wouldn't be surprised if it's over an hour, but it's necessary because these guys are four Pokemon, and each of the videos tend to be about 20 to 25 minutes, and so times that by 3 or 4, and boom, you got 100. You got an hour-long video. So 3-in-1 here, guys. 4-in-1 technically if you count Tyrogue. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope I didn't miss anything. Hope I addressed everything, and I hope you guys are excited to fight/use one of the Hitmons or all of the Hitmons. Also, if you're curious, my personal favorite design-wise is Hitmonlee, as I'm sure most people's are, because his is the only one that I don't know. A lot of people love Hitmontop. I'm not too crazy about it. I do think I mean Hitmonchan is just a bad design, but I also he has this weird kind of charm to him. I actually kind of don't mind it, but that's probably just Gen 1 bullshit, like nostalgia and whatnot. Even though I wasn't born then, but point being, um, it's not a great design, man. Not the strongest. Hitmonlee is pretty chill though. He has the cool springy arms. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was really fun. It was really fun making these dudes and then, customizing them. Imagine I'm done with this and then I find out I wasn't recording. No, I am. Am I? Let's see. Stop the sharing. Okay, I was recording. So yeah, I will see you guys soon for the next Pokemon. See y'all.